Striving to save the world from the evil Decepticons, the heroic Autobots are led by Optimus Prime. He's more than meets the eye, he's a robot in disguise. Going ballistic to destroy the Autobots and conquer mankind, the evil Decepticons are more than meets the eye. Heroic Autobots versus evil Decepticons with the fate of planet Earth hanging in the balance. Transformers Generation 2. And now, through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced stories of the Transformers. Transformers Generation 2.
Beast Wars. Christ. You guys can't see it, but Beast Wars, I mean, obviously, if anybody is here as of yet, presumably you might know of Beast Wars, and if you do, you know it is an absolutely insane, wonderful show. Beast Wars is absolute utter nonsense. I haven't seen it in years. Groovy. I agree. Hello. Good to see you, Liz. I hope you're doing well. I was actually meaning to text you and ask if there is perhaps room in your schedule, because I was wondering if I could possibly request a feature, a feature of these streams. I was looking to have a little PNG made, but I don't know how to replicate your text and your style, so I was wondering if I could get your help with that at some point. But I'll talk to you about it later, because right now we have an assignment. I have a very urgent call to action, and my call to action is for you to sit the fuck down and listen to my very good presentation. Hello, Califici, and welcome to the stream. Tonight's stream is going to be a little different, ladies and gentlemen, and other, including myself. I am other. What's this? Oh yeah, absolutely. Nice. I will text you about that. But tonight's presentation is very important. I have given it much thought. And so I wish to talk to the people. I wish to speak to the people about an urgent matter. It has become clear to me that many people unironically and unquestioningly think that the Autobot cause is a just one. And woe are they, for they are fools. I also want to talk to you about a commission. I will absolutely listen once we've gotten this Transformer stuff out of the way, once we've got it locked down, so to speak. That's a reference to a Transformer. I would love to talk to you about that, absolutely. I always need grocery money. But before we can talk about business, I have to talk to you about the horrors of war. So, I have with me a book that I have written upon. That's how seriously I'm taking this. I have with me my various nerdy things, including one singular Optimus. I have more toys than this, but they sit in a special shelf in a special place in the lounge, where they are kept safe, sound, and most of the time dust-free. I have yet to get my Megatron pop vinyl, but he is on the list. And I will have him. I will have him someday. But until then, I have about 4 Transformers figurines, and the list is growing. The collection will expand. My greatest pride and joy is my knockout figurine. First edition. Very hard to get. Alright. Listen. A lot of people are familiar with Transformers. A lot of people are familiar with the general concept. Now, Michael Bay came along, and he sure did throw a wrench in things, again, so to speak. That's not a Transformers name, that's just a mechanical pun of sorts. Thank you for laughing, I'm sure. Listen. Michael Bay came along, and he made things very confusing. A lot of people, their main association with Transformers is the illustrious reboot, or the exact beginning. So either people have a decent knowledge of Generation 1, the first Transformers, the Transformers cartoon. Generation 1, beautiful, obviously. Great nostalgia factor, great show, groundbreaking, trend-setting, jet-setting, wonderful, eleganza. And then Michael Bay came along in, 2009. I don't fully remember the exact date, because it doesn't gosh darn matter. And he came along and he started a new frontier. A new era of Transformers fandom, where people came along and they went, I sort of remember Transformers, we liked them, didn't we? Oh, look, a new one. And gosh, it's pretty to look at. Oh, they speak a language. I can get behind that. Oh, they learned English from the World Wide Web. Fascinating. Oh, I see that they have names. I won't remember any of them except for Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, which consistently maintains true for most casual fans. Now, Michael Bay did a good job of reintroducing not only old fans who had forgotten most of what Transformers was about to Transformers, but also new people, a new generation to Transformers. And as such, people like me got my sort of first stepping stone into what eventually became a much longer lasting and much deeper obsession. And I watched every other show, the better ones, after I was introduced by Michael Bay to the current ones, because I was, when it came out, probably 9 years old, so I hadn't watched G1. So good on Michael Bay for that. Now, Michael Bay does sort of introduce us to, and I'm going to take one headphone off so I'm not yelling too loud. I will probably continue to yell. Michael Bay introduced us to, how do I phrase this? A very simplistic view of the plotline. And that doesn't quite remain true anymore, because the plotline that exists in the overall state of the group of movies he has made in the time that he has had to work on these films has become inexorably more complex and just so complicated. But originally speaking, he had a very simple plot, which was to say, Allspark, a classic MacGuffin of the Transformers universe, is an essential thing that the Transformers require. But where'd it go? And so they have to jet set off. They have to go and find it. Oh, and lo and behold, as always, for some reason, it's on Earth, and the plot unfolds as such. We have our Megatron, who is introduced some way through the movie as sort of like our twist. He's coming back to life. We've met some Decepticons who are all fighting to revive their long-lost leader and find the Allspark as he would have wanted them to. And we are following along the Autobots as they go on their good old mission to try and get their hands on the Allspark before the Decepticons can, so they can't use it for evil, and presumably help Cybertron with it. It's been a while since I've seen the films, but in general, That is the plot of the first movie. And that's a lot of people's association. When you ask them, like, what's Transformers about? They're like, well, you see, it's about Optimus Prime. And I'm like, who? And they're like, the big one with the flames. And I'm like, yes, you've seen Michael Bay. I see. But like, the big one with the flames fighting the silver one who's also big and has a very complex amount of jagged metals that make it hard to parse his face. The Dorito-shaped one, Starscream, who dies very quickly. And yeah, there's an Allspark, and Sam Witwicky, and Michaela, and that's it. And I'm like, great, cool. So, what a lot of people were not introduced to, unfortunately, was the genuinely complex relationship that is had between Optimus and Megatron. And one of the really good examples of how vague it was and how little people know is best illustrated by like this one interaction I had with somebody who was watching the movies casually, because like Megatron like leans into Optimus and says, "We were brothers once," and Optimus is like, "Once," and the person next to me was like, "Are they related?" And it was so funny because the answer to literally anyone who's ever given a shit about Transformers is no. No. This is a very spiritual concept. Like, it's so much deeper than, they were robot brothers. But now they're robot enemies fighting for the robot square. It's like, gosh, I wish you knew any of the deep complexities that is prevalent in the very good quality Transformers media that does exist. But yeah, so one of the starting points that I think is actually important is to talk about what the origin of Megatron and Optimus's relationship is. Because when I say that the Autobots are the bad guys, I don't mean Optimus Prime is an evil character. It's not that black and white. What I mean is that the Autobot cause is a bit more nefarious and honestly harmful than you would expect. And I think that the Decepticon cause is actually a lot more, like, one you could genuinely have a lot more sympathy for. I think that the Decepticon cause is actually a cause that I far prefer over what the Autobot cause is. But you have to read into a lot of different Transformers media to get a consistent pattern. So I'm just going to break it down for you as simply and as quickly as I can. Otherwise, we're going to be here for like 10 years. Because there's like 20, 30 years of media. So, well, no, yeah, it's about right. So, could be here for a while, but I'll try and keep it brief. But basically, the origin story of Megatron and Optimus is varied. Obviously, with each new show, there is a soft reboot. Not a hard reboot, but a soft reboot on the backstories. And a lot of shows have started to get more consistent as the shows have gotten along in years. When Transformers Prime is a TV show that landed in 2010, when Transformers Prime aired, that show got probably like the most positive feedback that a show had in just in general. Like, Transformers Animated came out in 2007, was very well received, but Transformers Prime, where Transformers Animated was a different take on Transformers that was like new and had new stuff, and it's like kind of its own thing that we can put off to a corner. It's like Transformers Animated is its own universe. We don't need to worry about that right now for this conversation that we're having. Transformers Prime was, in essence, took stuff from like lots of Transformers backstories and went, we're gonna make the Transformers like what the movies could have been. All the information the old fans will recognize, nothing especially new, but what is new is a gentle transition from old to modern, and it feels very faithful. And so that ended up being a lot of the base canon for newer shows that came after. So any new show tends to reference lore from Transformers Prime in the way that like Transformers Prime reset the lore entirely by making better versions of the original lore. I really hope that makes fucking sense. Basically, Transformers Prime took the old lore, went, We tidied it up, we put a bow on it. And now all of the new Transformers canons tend to be like, oh, our origin story, insert thing from Transformers Prime, is this. So yeah. So we're going to be talking a lot about origin stories that are present throughout Transformers Prime, yes, but actually not exclusively Transformers Prime, but what came after Transformers Prime is now the accepted canon in the eyes of the fandom. There are so many shows and so many different realities, right? Transformers Prime is a Marvel property, and as all my Marvel properties love to do, there is a million versions of it that are technically canon, because they believe in the different universes existing side by side each other. So, kind of like how in Marvel there's a canon where Iron Man was ripped in half by Thanos, there's a canon where he was not. And they're both true. So there are canons in which there's a canon called Shattered Glass, which is completely true. It's its own canon universe, and it is the opposite switched personalities. So where the Decepticons are basically taken place by the Autobots are the bad guys, and the Decepticons, classically, and the Decepticons are the good guys. They have their colors switched, they have their personalities switched, it's all that fun stuff, and it's perfectly canon, and people love to play around with it. Shattered Glass canon. But yeah, we're not really worrying about anything that's really hard stuck to one show. We're considering, as somebody who is deep in the fandom, I'm looking at this from what the fandom's accepted canon is, because there's so many different universes that at some point the fandom went, this is the one that we consider to be the most canon. If you find any discrepancies from what I say, it's that doesn't really match up on the latest IDW comics, it's because I'm taking from the fandom, not necessarily from hard lore. Moving on. Statement made, moving on. So, the accepted origin point for Megatron and Optimus's friendship is partway through Megatron's life. It's accepted that Megatron was made first, Optimus came later. And obviously, if you're not familiar with this is not going to make much sense, so just bear with me best you can, but this was before Optimus became a Prime, so we're talking about Orion Pax, not Optimus Prime. Not different people per se, but kind of different people. So, in order to understand why I believe that the Decepticon cause is justified, and why the Autobots represent a very black and white and old-fashioned concept of morality that doesn't actually hold true anymore, I need to talk about what Megatron represents. And Megatron represents oppression. Not by causing it, though yes later, but by being oppressed. So Megatron's character, Transformers, their society, operated for a long time under something known as the Functionalist Council. The Functionalist Council was a set of usually non-primes, usually they're governed by one prime. There's one prime at a time. And, but for the sake of this, we're going to say that there isn't a prime governing them at the time of this story. So we pick up our story with Megatronus, not at this point named, but we need to give him a title so that we know who we're talking about. So Megatronus is sparked into existence. The Well of All Sparks is the origin point for most Cybertronians. So they pop out of the Well of All Sparks, and Long Tongue, you know it. Yeah. Welcome to the stream. So all Cybertronians pop out of the Well of All Sparks, fully formed. This changes from canon to canon, but for, again, fandom accepted canon, we're gonna just say pop out of the well fully formed. So Megatronus was sparked as a piece of mining equipment. So every Cybertronian has a designated alt form that they are born with. And the Functionalist Council's purpose is to create a perfectly clockwork, cog-like society. And this was built under the wisdom of the primes, so the previous primes. So basically what this means is, let's say Megatronus is sparked into existence. He is sparked as a piece of mining equipment. This is true. Functionalist Council gets a look at this character, goes, I see, you are mining equipment. Goes, send him into the darkness, he's going to be an efficient miner, and that is what he will do until he dies. So Megatronus was sent down the mines. No name, didn't need one. He didn't need to be part of a society. He didn't need to go to cafes and talk to friends or make friends. His purpose was to mine, and that was all he was allowed to do. Effectively, Megatronus was a slave to masters under this oppressive regime. And so he was deep in the mines, overseen by people that were cruel to the miners, didn't really treat them as people, didn't really treat them as free thinkers. And eventually, some cannons killed the overseer, other cannons deeply injured the overseer. Either way, gets in trouble. He gets, some cannons like to say that he's thrown into the gladiatorial arena as a punishment, or that he escapes the mines and escapes into the gladiatorial arena as a way of hiding. Either way, this miner who is unnamed and mistreated finds his way into this cruel blood sport, and it's his only escape from the oppression is to go into a situation where his potential death is entertainment. This character goes from one form of oppression to a freedom that is still another form of oppression, where they have to fight and learn violence to survive. So their entire life up until this point has been nothing but a bleak introduction to society. And again, this is Megatron we're talking about. This is his origin story. He takes a name. His name, Megatronus, was taken from one of the first original primes, Megatronus Prime. This prime, classically, betrayed the other primes, so he took it from a prime that fought against his brothers, so pretty fitting. But I'm pretty sure Megatronus Prime was also the warrior, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong. Oh, I think somebody followed me. I heard my alert go off. If that was a follow, thank you very much. Sorry, for some reason it didn't show up on my screen, so I have no idea what that alert was actually for. Yeah, thank you, Sissa Eb, for much appreciated. I was so scared by my alert sound, I didn't know what that was. But yeah, no, thank you so much for following and hanging out. Welcome to chat, by the way. But yeah, so he took his name from a very fitting character and started his career in the gladiatorial arena. Now, Megatronus, of course, built for the mines and not for anything else, was exceptional. His whole life had been spent in the darkness, mining ore, and now he was presented with this opportunity to fight for his freedom, and this character just did. He put everything into fighting his way up the ranks to be the very best, and he was built not for society. Some Transformers, like Orion, who we will get to in a moment, were not built for fighting and have light little builds that are quite, made for no impact, made for society, made for tea and talking and interacting with people and walking on the roadways and like having good times. And Megatronus was not built for that. He was built for taking rubble directly to his sternum. He was built for cave-ins and for getting through them. I've been waiting for this talk for real. Oh, dice. I've been thinking it over and I'm now realizing, hey, the primes in the Golden Age wasn't as good as they portray. I am so glad you're on my page. I've been dying to talk about this. Dying. But yeah, so also, hello, Ashley. So good to have you in chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have my Optimus right up there, and my Reaper, and my Isabel. But yeah, so this character became exceptional in the pits, right? Did a great job. He was built to take damage, so he took damage and he gave damage, and he quickly became famous, but not necessarily just because he was very good in the pits, but because he'd been thinking. And now we start talking about Orion. So, again, this is the accepted canon that is accepted by the fandom as a whole, not necessarily one particular canon from a show. I am very, very deep within the fandom, so I know very, very well which sets of information are most prominently accepted as true. So, we have Orion Pax. Classically speaking, Orion Pax takes different forms. One origin point, he was a policeman, like a law enforcement officer. In another accepted canon, he was a dock worker. And in the one that is most prominently accepted, he was an archivist. And now we talk about Ryan. Not Ryan! Not Ryan! Orion! Orion Pax! Orion Pax from Transformers. Hi, Time Locked. Alright. Sorry, I'm like a certain way through, so it's gonna be a little bit like no context, but bear with me. Yeah, not Ryan, Orion. G1 Orion is special. G1 Orion is special. Hello. God, it's so good to have you here. Welcome to the time. Welcome to the zone. Okay. So yeah, now we talk about Orion. So now that our minor, who was born a slave, born into darkness, given no hope, has escaped his oppressive environment only to find freedom in another, more violent environment where his only freedom comes in the form of being entertainment for the upper class by fighting in Bloodsport, Megatron is one hell of a character. And he starts talking about society, and he starts theorizing about society, and he starts expressing his thoughts and his experience and telling his story, and he becomes a philosopher over time. And of course, Transformers live for millions and millions of years, so this could be over the course of tens of thousands of years. He slowly starts to build up this repertoire of information where he has built these books of poetry and thought and philosophy. And so eventually, as it would, this reaches the ears of an archivist who works in the very important building, the Iacon Hall of Records. Now, what's important to know here is that Cybertron, since when did this stream need context? You're right, and you should say it. So Cybertron is made up of a few major cities. We have the Vosian capital. Vosians are Cybertronians that are sparked specifically to fly. So people like Starscream are Vosian seekers. They are not, like, they didn't pick a flight mode later in life, they were born to fly. So Vosians are their own little kingdom on Cybertron. Very important too, but whatever. Then we have Kaon. Kind of think of it as like, it's considered the slums, and eventually throughout the war it became the Decepticon capital because of how important Kaon ended up being to Megatron's rise to power. But for this time period that we're in right now, where we're talking about, it is like the capital of slums. It is a dark, dingy city where the gladiatorial pits are, and Iaconians will go there specifically to enjoy the blood sports from their high little seats and then leave Kaon as quickly as they can. Iacon is the capital city of Cybertron, and it is pristine. That's where the primes are, that's where their government is, that's where the council is, that's where all their religious artifacts are. Detroit, is that you? You can't say that about Detroit! Very important too, but whatever. Listen, you can't just fucking say that Kaon is Detroit. You know, Kaon, Detroit of Cybertron. Every time I think about Megatron, I feel so sad and sympathetic. He's messed up, but there's a dark reason why. There are so many issues with the concept of the good guys and how there is even separation between good and bad. It's war. Everyone believes they're good in their own way and justifiably think the others are bad. Literally need to start writing a paper to organize my thoughts. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Write one too. We'll have in one part of the world I'll be writing my paper, in your part of the world you'll be writing yours, and the universe will finally be complete and at peace. But yeah, in war there's no good or bad. There's only cat boys yes and cat boys no. Continuing on in my essay. So we have the very important and illustrious and glamorous Iacon. Now, Iacon is made up of tall spires and white buildings and beautiful, beautiful landscapes and, like, the crystal forests, all that jazz. And yes, Cybertron does have plant life, it's just crystal. So, anyway. Now, the person that lives there is a person who is basically squarely middle class. So if we have literally whatever class being a slave is, which is I to imagine even below like low, like just like the absolute worst possible place you could be born into is Megatronus, who has fought his way into the gladiatorial pits and is now a famous gladiator who, again, can't really escape his position, but he's made something out of it and now is a known philosopher, and he's speaking out. And far, far away, in the pretty city of Iacon for the upper and middle class, is one squarely little, like, middle-class person who is built tiny. So, Orion Pax is a small mech. He is sparked with, like, a convoy alt mode. It's not too out of the ordinary, he doesn't have a specific purpose, and he was granted the opportunity to work as an archivist within the Hall of Records, which is an extremely important building, and he was overseen by the illustrious Alpha Trion, who was like this old, wise character. So Orion Pax had access to all of Cybertron's information, and they don't trust that with a lot of people. Orion Pax started reading more into Cybertron's past because this particular character had a craving for information. And so he started doing research. And what happened is Orion Pax started noticing that Cybertron had a lot of problems. And one of the things that he noticed when he started looking into the problems of Cybertron was the writings and words of a gladiator who was speaking on the issues, and that was Megatronus. Orion Pax got out of his tower, his middle-class, upper society tower, and traveled all the way to Slum City, basically. Not to go and watch the blood sports, but to correspond and speak to Megatronus, because he wanted to get more information. Thank you very much for the hydrate. No, he didn't travel to Detroit! Kaon is not Detroit! Hi, small gayest. Thirsty for data. Just read that. Nice. He's thirsty for data. So he travels all the way to Kaon is Detroit. It's spelled... Hang on, I'm gonna put this in chat so you can see how it's spelled. It's spelled like this. It's not the Grand Kaon. Anyway, moving on. I have a lot of... Hang on. I have a lot to talk about. So they begin speaking. And they take up correspondence. And it is pretty widely accepted that... okay, how do I phrase this? It is completely canon that they became very close friends. It is widely accepted that they were probably lovers. But it is absolutely canon that they became very, very good friends. And that is why in many, many iterations of Transformers, you hear them refer to each other as old brothers, where they were like, we were brothers once. Because obviously in Transformers society, there is no family units. That doesn't mean what we think it to mean. It's not like they were related. But they were close. They were spiritually close because they cared about the same things. Orion, Megatron fights. Nah. Orion reads Megatron's papers about hating the government. No, that's hot! That's canon, basically! I do need you to know that that's basically canon, so thank you for your contribution. They took up correspondence, you mean? I'm so glad to know that we're on the same wavelength. But yeah. A lot of people, knowing this information, would now wonder, oh, well, isn't Orion Pax, if Orion Pax is Optimus Prime, first of all, how did that happen? And if Megatronus becomes Megatron, how did that happen? It's the same, it's very unfortunate, actually, and it's a very sad story, in my opinion, but I'll keep it brief. So, and in order to talk about why their friendship fell apart in such a, like, intimate way, we need to talk about what the Primacy represented. So the Primacy... You gotta go, I'm enjoying this, but I gotta go, sorry, no, that's okay! Accent mode! Oh my fucking god. So to talk about why, fuck? Why did I add that? I mean, why did I add that? Oh, fuck. To talk about why, a B Texan, I don't know how to do that, and I'm gonna wildly offend somebody. So we're gonna stick with this one, cause I have a certain. Oh, you did 25% of the stacked Oreo. You did 25% of the stacked Oreo challenge. Congratulations. Say howdy. Howdy. Do you want me to talk? I fell back into it immediately. Don't fucking voice ban me. I'm doing an essay. Please. This is not the stream for a voice ban. Help. Why did I add these? Howdy. How do I do this? Yeehaw. What's a Texan accent? How do I... Hello? Fuck. I can't... Well, as long as you say howdy. Howdy. We're gonna talk about Transformers now. Alright, so, the reason that the Primacy is so gosh darn important is because it's a spiritual concept to the Cybertronian people. So, what is the Matrix of Leadership? The Matrix of Leadership is a relic of very old Cybertronian engineering. I'm getting to that time locked. Listen, so thank God I only have to do this for like 5 minutes. If I had to do this for the rest of it, I would cry and pass out. I'm so bad at this. Alright, so the concept of the Matrix of Leadership is that it is a lot of people like to think of it as like a mystical concept. It is not mystical. It is a scientific artifact. What it like actually does is it grants you the Matrix is a relic that ships Mega, but Optimus is stupid and says nah. Me with 36.3k points. Just 5 minutes, sure. Don't you fucking dare. I'll get off of my horse and I'll come on over to the saloon and I'll do it. I'll glass him. I'll glass you right in the face. That's a lot of points. It sure fucking is. Alright, so what is, on a practical level, why does my voice get cheaper? Get off. Fuck off! I'll kill you with these hair hands and these there boots. I'll listen. I'll fucking kill you. I'm turning into Goofy. I will walk to Singapore. You just fucking watch me. I'll stream it. I'll be like that snail. I'll be that snail where you get to, it goes at snail's pace, but it will chase you for the rest of your life, and if you touch it, you die. I am that snail, and I will walk to Singapore. Alright, whatever, listen. The Matrix of Leadership is a conduit. People like to think that the Matrix of Leadership is a magical artifact that gives you wisdom. That's not what it fucking does. It gives you access to the wisdom of the primes. It's not the same thing as providing you with wisdom. What it does... I'll kill you with this gosh darn quick bullet and them snake bites. I got a snake in my stream and it's tab locked. It doesn't let you just have wisdom. It gives you access to the deceased primes. So the spark is the essence of your being. And the idea is that every single person who's wielded the matrix of leadership, their spark stays in the matrix, or the memory, the echo of their spark. Think of it like a data imprint. That is the generic concept of the matrix. So what happens is when Orion Pax gets it and his body is reformatted into Optimus Prime, it's not that he gets mystical wisdom, it's that he gets access to the data print of every other prime that's wielded the device. So now, it's kind of like he has a glimpse into the afterlife, which is why people like to think of it as mystical, because it lets you see the dead, but that's not what it does. At a scientific, technical level, Almighty Matrix leadership. Is Megatron hot? Fuck yes. Oh no. Oh no, he's hot. I'll just imagine him without his plating. Oh no, he's hot. It's so much worse than the accent. But yeah, so Optimus Prime basically gets to draw on the library that only, yeah, so basically the Matrix is a library that, the mattress. The mattress that only Optimus has access with. He can see which wisdom he wants to see. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, you're right. You're totally right. So you can so what it gives you is the perspective of older primes. So you get access to the mattress of wisdom, as in the remnants of the spark. The Matrix Nanos tells Optimus facts, but he decided to be stupid. So, alright. Has it been 5 minutes yet? Can I stop? I forgot to set a timer. So now I'm just stuck like this until I'm sure it's been 5 minutes. So, the problem is that because the Matrix has been utilized, thank fuck, it's been 7 minutes. Thank you so much for telling me. Okay. All right, whatever. I'm gonna speed forward because I got stuttering stuck. Normal accent. Aw, Liz. That's really sweet. Yeah, I know. Normal accent. I was thinking maybe I can push an American accent a little bit if that count. I can cheat a little. But pushing an American accent is just sort of pushing my own just a little bit further and opening my mouth more. So I'm going to try that, and we're going to see if it sounds normal or not. I'm here to learn about why the government sucks and why we should abolish it. Now that I'm leaning back into Texas now, actually. I gotta be careful. That is indeed why we're here. You did let us see Liv die a little inside when you saw you redeem that. It's true. It is true. I'm gonna keep trying to push, the thing is, as I already talk like an American, supposedly, so I have to enunciate my words just a little bit extra hard, and then supposedly it sounds more American, so I'm gonna try and do that. But the reason that Megatron doesn't like the Matrix is because he suffered under oppression while people were still living off of the wisdom that the primes had set up. So that do be true. Don't know about your phrasing, but that do be true. Actually, I do know about your phrasing, you're right. But so the oppressive regime that put Megatron into darkness from the moment he was born was set in place by people that were following the wisdom of the Matrix. Now, the Matrix is, again, not a mystical artifact, so they weren't somehow still right, necessarily. All they had was old knowledge from older times being passed on through a relic. Now, that's not to say that there isn't benefits to the Matrix. I'm exposing what I believe to be our massive flaws in the Matrix. However, you'll notice that Optimus Prime, Orion Pax is not a battle-hardy character. There are moments where Optimus Prime is revealed to be incapable of fighting. Orion Pax, I mean. Optimus Prime is a very good fighter. I like to think, on a personal level, And also it's revealed that the Matrix helps him fight, but I like to think it's because previous primes were also engaged in wars. There were classically other wars in Cybertronian society, just the one that we're most used to is the one that usually the plot centers around. So, what we end up seeing is an Optimus who has good access to battle tactics on the fly. So he has access to people who have been in wars and have won those wars, and is able to pull from their strategies and do a good job at fighting. Without the Matrix, he never had the opportunity to learn. So Orion Pax never fought a day in his life. Optimus Prime had to fight basically from the day he was born, because Optimus Prime was brought into existence because of the war, and I'll get into that. Anyway, we'll come back to where their friendship split apart. It's like having a whole society of dead people who help you, but they're also a bunch of racist. It do be true, actually. You're not wrong there. You suffer depression, god damn it, Prime's why you gotta make Megatron submit like that. You are insatiable. Me too, but for real, watch the Primes make a new system and remove the old ways of the Primes, be influenced by them but revert the system. That is actually exactly what this stream is about. Isn't it confirmed in some canon that Optimus is a reincarnated OG Prime and that Orion was a placeholder until he was ready to be a Prime again? I was never too sure about that. I actually think you are right. In one of the canons, actually I think in maybe 2 or 3 of the canons, Orion was the reincarnation of a Prime, but without the Matrix, and so when he got the Matrix, he became properly in his form, something like that. Yeah, I actually think that's first introduced in Beast Wars, if I recall correctly, but I could be wrong. That's a whole thing I should look into at some point. But the reason that their friendship broke up is a very simple one, which is that Megatron believes, much like you just said, Ashley, that because the wisdom of the Primes had set their society up to be oppressive and functionalist and caste-based, that it was incorrect and they were following the wrong leadership, which was to say the leadership of a relic. And so he went to the council after being very well known with a shit ton of followers who saw him as this revolutionary. And he went to the council with his best friend, Orion Pax, who trusted him and liked him. And they had a lot of conversations and they agreed about a lot of stuff. And so they both went to the council as friends together. Now, the way that this is portrayed is that Megatron showed his true colors there. True colors. In reality, I don't think that is an accurate way of phrasing what happened. It seems, from what I've encountered of the Transformers, first of all, the fandom and how they interpret the events that have been vaguely stated, and from what I've seen of the events in various media, it seems that Megatronus took his ideas and was a straightforward revolutionary and went to the council and went, hey, we gotta overthrow this shit with force. We need to institute somebody who understands the oppression that you have put on us and let that person take charge, aka me. I was one of the worst examples of oppression. I was born into slavery. I was born into the dark. I fought my way for freedom, never got it. And the only way that I have managed to get this council is by making enough noise to get your attention. And now that I'm here, I think you guys should get the fuck out of the way and let me try to make a new society. Was it an arrogant pitch? Yes. Was it a bad pitch? Not necessarily. I think there are ways in which, of course, if you say, let me take over, of course it's not going to go exceedingly well. But Megatronus, of course he was going to go for that. That's exactly what his character would do. He had been nothing but a slave and an oppressed source of entertainment to the upper class. And now that he was seeing the upper class, of course you're not going to be like, oh, well, maybe you should let me take a turn, uwu. You're going to be like, get the fuck out of your seats. You fucked this up. You did a bad job. I would like a turn. Me, the person you've been stepping on, please. And honestly, I don't blame him for it. Take a sip, you got it. Thank you. I don't blame him for it. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And unfortunately, this is where it gets complicated, because Orion Pax stepped forward because he disagreed with a violent take. He didn't want there to be violence at all, which is super ironic when you know where the story goes, but he didn't want there to be force. So Orion Pax stepped forwards and go, and let me just set the scene for you. What was previously a slave, who is now a form of entertainment in a blood sport, turned revolutionist for the upper class, former entertainment for the upper class, turned revolutionist, and representative of the lower oppressed faction of an entire planet, offers one solution. His middle-class, civilian-grade friend, who has never tasted blood a day in his life, steps forward and goes, actually, I think we could do this peacefully. I think Orion Pax meant very, very well. But I think that this is a really good example of where the Autobot and Decepticon split has an inherent bias in the media. When Transformers was made, it was made with the black and white moral structure of people that used to like to watch G.I. Joe, where the good guys never truly hurt anybody until it's needed, and then when it is needed, we fucking kill them. But not until it's really needed. And the bad guys only do violence. Heck them. And so we have this problem where, looking at it now, Megatronus was super duper right, and Orion Pax had no business stepping forward and taking over. No business. He had studied it, but had never lived it. He had no business stepping forward. And so what happened is, of course, the council really liked Orion Pax and said, this guy should be a prime. Which is such a slap in the face to everything Megatronus went there to say. So, of course, when Megatronus turned around and left, he felt so betrayed by Orion. So angry! And in one version, that's why his eyes turned red, because he got fucking mad at Orion Pax. And I mean, I would have too. I would have been very mad as well. And I'll read the comments in a second. I'm so sorry I haven't been keeping up with chat. I just wanted to charge through this section. But yeah, Orion Pax is, in my opinion, fucked it up pretty bad. And didn't understand that actually there is a place for force and revolution. And just wasn't somebody who had the experience needed to have that distinction. And so Megatronus left and basically went, all right, fuck this, and started a war. Because in that moment, he got to see firsthand that even if he was close to somebody of the upper class, they weren't going to change for him. So he needed to overthrow it by force, and he put it into action. He was proved right by Orion, because peace did nothing. Orion's opinion didn't change. So I think that there's something to be said for that there is still nuance in that area, and that neither side did it perfectly, obviously. But the war starting because Megatronus and a group of revolutionary followers wanted the world to be better is, in my opinion, a much better cause than why the Autobots were set up, which was to keep the peace. Which, that's a bit sus, ain't it? So the Autobots were literally set up in response to the Decepticons in most accepted canon. That's not even in all canon at all, but like most accepted canon. And they were set up as almost like a response, a peacekeeper police barricade of sorts. And for a while, two nations got set up where the Autobots lived in Iacon and the Decepticons lived in Kaon, and they were like these two different societies, and they like never crossed paths, and it was that for a while until eventually they destroyed themselves and the world died. But the reason that Orion ever got his hand on the Matrix was, first, he got the blessing of the Council, which was already a horrible group of people because they were allowing the pits to stay open and introducing functionalism, like kept functionalism going. They were like, this guy should be a prime. So first of all, bad blessing. And then Orion Pax, while the war was beginning, journeyed to the center of the planet because the planet was dying from the strain of war. And when he got to the center of the planet, discovered that is where the core of the planet was, discovered that the planet was a living being, and the being who had the Matrix bestowed it on him because he saw somebody that was worthy, aka somebody who upkept the morals of the previous primes, who we already know weren't doing a good job. So Optimus Prime happened, and now he has this mission where he needs to help upkeep those same pieces of wisdom and return Prime to its this world to its golden age. But this is an empty, like, this is a bad idea. And so what he's fighting for, he believes to be right, because everybody he's talked to his entire life says it's right, and the only person who did it is this person who becomes a warlord. And you can see why it would be hard for Optimus to realize the strain of his position and why it's wrong, or like why it's not necessarily the moral point. But like, the war kills the planet and then it gets taken to Earth, and things get really devolved for a while because Megatronus throughout the series, kind of like various canons, throughout the series of various canon, tends to lose himself more and more and more until he becomes like this war-hungry beast. Because what is he fighting for? The planet that he wanted to free from oppression died because of the war that everyone keeps saying that he started. And this, like, becomes such a messy thing. But yeah. In essence, from there, this concept of a show splits off into a million different variations. There are variations where the Autobots and Decepticons find peace. There are variations where the Autobots win. There are variations where the Decepticons win. There's one very well-known variation where Megatron becomes so upset with his own violence and how far he's gone that he discards his cause entirely and becomes an Autobot. And it's a very interesting comic. The Lost Light comics of IDW came out in roughly 2016. Amazing plotline, very well loved. Highly recommend you go read it. It is not bad. It is fantastic. Great analysis of Megatron. Great introduction into what actually Primus was. Highly recommend it. I want that canon time locked. But yeah, sorry, I've missed so much in the chat. My apologies, but that is, in essence, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That is why I believe that the Decepticons are actually the good guys, and why the Autobots are a very old-fashioned G.I. Joe style set of morals that no longer holds up in a modern society. Thank you for coming. Okay, I'm gonna go back and read. I'm so sorry that I've missed so many of these. Okay. God, I've missed so much. I'm so sorry. Deadass Megatron can beat up reincarnated God. Megatron is fucking OP. Megatron is very strong. He's a very strong character, and the only reason Optimus can even hold up to him is literally because of the Matrix. This part is super sad. I hate when they meet with the council. Yes, I do too. Singapore's opposition parties against the ruling party. Like a realistic person, why is Megatron actually right? He should be in power. He has the experience of the people. Personally, I think Megatronus and Orion should have ruled together, like a part of the old and the new, a part of Icon and a part of Kaon. I really like that as well, and I've always really, really liked that interpretation, because I think because Orion was somebody who was willing to take on new information, but also represented a different part of society that Megatronus had never encountered, and vice versa. Megatronus was open to new information, in that he was a force for new information, but he hadn't experienced. He'd only experienced the bad. I think the two of them working together, pre-Optimus Prime reformatting, would have been exceptional. And I want to see that. I want to see a comic of that. I know we've got a comic of everything else. Now it's just everyone is a shade of gray except with extra murder. Yeah. I also don't like the council meeting because they agree with Orion and not with Megatronus. Thank you. Yes, this could also be a huge blow to Megatron's pride. They choose one of the upper class's members instead of their slaves, and they're showing their biases. I'm so glad we were on the same track. They didn't listen to the person who suffers. They say they agree with change, but while agreeing, they shun the person affected. Ugh. That's why I loved in Transformers. Oh, hi, Sam. Welcome to the chat. That's why I loved in Transformers Siege, the combat difference between Optimus and Megatron, where Optimus has little to none going against Megatron, who was a gladiator. I have started watching Transformers Siege, and it's very, very good, and I saw that too. I did. I like your point about how Orion didn't have the right to say, let's do peace. Yes, he didn't have the right to say that. How can he say that when the people in Kaon are literally being abused and forced to kill, they're forced to live with violence every day? Why should the people of Kaon suffer with violence while the upper class when the upper class is confronted, they get peace? Cybertron really did go, yeah, the system doesn't work. Go and use it till it works. Megatron never had a chance, since Orion was just a placeholder for the Forgotten Prime. It was always going to be Orion, no matter if Megatron changed his approach. It's depressing. Can we have a canon where Megatron and OP just cuddle? Yes, please. Please, yes. We just need Optimus Prime to stop in his quest for success to go, wait, this shit doesn't work, why am I doing it? And Megatron going, I've been telling you that for literal millennia, babe, do you want hot chocolate? Yeah, so it's really funny because there's nuance in that. There are horrible things that the Decepticons do to achieve their goals, and that the Autobots do have more honor-bound practices. However, I still think that the origin story of it all proves a very strong point. And also in media where they're showing like, oh, the Decepticons do bad things, they only do that because they think the Decepticons are inherently bad, so they let them do more villainy stuff in their plots. And they don't want the Autobots to make questionable moral decisions unless it's a darker take, or unless it's a moral lesson. And usually the darker take shows do a better job of that. Transformers Siege, for example. I blame Shockwave, the guy is psycho. He is! Shockwave is such an interesting character, because he removed, at least in some iterations, he removed his empathy. In another version, he just doesn't have it. So he's a completely logic-based character, which makes him completely ruthless. But of course it would, because it would make sense that a logic-based character is on the Decepticon side, because it's better for their society. So, like, yeah. Oh, thank you, Sparkle Penguin. Hello. But yeah, so I care deeply about this. Care deeply, deeply, deeply about this idea. I think there is so much depth in Megatron's character and so much potential in Optimus's character. I love Optimus, don't get me wrong. I really like his character because Optimus took on the responsibility of having the Matrix, because classically the Matrix is extremely stressful to possess because you have basically a bunch of dead guys just ringing in your ears constantly, and you're getting all of this information and feedback, and you have to be stoic because he was basically chosen not only by the council, but also by what a lot of Transformers consider to be their god, which is, core of the planet, Primus, to be their representative of the good guys. And so he had to take on so much responsibility from what was originally a position of nothing, because he was a sidekick to Megatronus, the Revolutionary, where he was like, yeah, I agree, I think there's so much stuff in your work that's awesome. I'm just a librarian, though. And also I'm a librarian pacifist, and I'm optimistic, and I believe in peace. La da 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 da. And then suddenly, Cons was like, this dude's fucking perfect for our mascot, and Primus was like, dope, this dude can totally take this Matrix off me when I die. And suddenly he's reformatted into a war build with guns and swords, and he's bigger and bulkier and hardier, and he's given this huge piece of responsibility, and now he represents everything he was originally fighting against. And I wonder if there's room for a story where we explore him very slowly becoming more and more oppressed by it, and we can watch him be confronted with his own dark morality. I want that story, and maybe it exists, and I just don't know the comic. I would love to read it. If anybody knows one like that, I would love to read that comic, but also, please, if anybody has contacts with the comic-making people, I'm an artist, I'm a writer, fuck, please, just hit me up. I just want to work with you so bad. Just give me an opportunity, just give me the chance. Just give me the chance. Just give me the chance. I want to tell a good story about my baby boy Optimus so bad. I want to tell a tale. Please. Please. Don't the Autobots call some of the Decepticons drones so that way their conscience is better when they kill them? I don't know. I read somewhere that the Decepticons that they call drones are actually sentient and can feel, but they just look the same due to them just being disposables. It's just gross thinking about how they say Decepticons are the killers, but they just wave away the deaths of Decepticons by saying they aren't even sentient in the first place. There's actually a video. I don't remember the guy who makes them, but if you look up the morality of killing Viacons on YouTube, I'm pretty sure there is actually a video essay on this exact thing. And then there's Nemesis Prime. That's true. There's a bunch of different stories as to how he comes into existence. I'm most familiar with the one where he was a puppet, by Silas in Transformers Prime, but I don't remember the rest. My partner is more familiar with the one where it was Evil Optimus from Transformers Car Robots, which I believe is the Japanese name for robots in disguise. Not the new one, the older one. Could be wrong. But yeah. Hey, excuse me, how dare you guys be so knowledgeable and make me tempted to learn more. Please come into the fold. Time locked, come join me, time locked, please come join me in my prison of robots. Where I think about them too much. I will not go into the fold unless the fold was just for it. The fold would like you to come. The fold would like you to come in and join us, time locked. Time locked. Yeah. OP is cute sometimes, but sad. Yeah, there is such a deep inherent sadness. I saw that time locked, but I'm not addressing it. Deep inherent sadness in Optimus's character. I think he's such a tired character too. There's something about how he always wants to die. And like, there's memes in the Transformers fandom where it's like Optimus Prime looking at a grave like, God, I wish that were me. And it's like, fuck, dude, this guy is so tired from holding all of the wisdom and keeping the Autobots like barely from the brink of extinction at every single minute. Yes, he's me. No! But it's so funny, but the fact that the entire fandom agrees that this dude would just be like, God, I wish I was fucking dead right now, that sounds chill as hell, is such a statement about how the fandom perceives Optimus Prime. Optimus is cute sometimes, but sad. I like in TFP, Jack asks Op if he wants to hear something funny, and Optimus says no. Like, it's funny, but if you think deeper, he can't afford to be distracted. When does he laugh? When does he have time off? He doesn't even think hearing a joke is important. You're right, and you should say it. I will show you guys a clip in a second that is very informative on that. Megatron wishes you'd have... Nope, not addressing that. Megatron... He literally offers himself to die so many times. No! Hang on, I want to show you guys a clip. I'm gonna... Transformers, Optimus, laugh. Let me laugh. Okay. Give me... Hang on. Trying to find if this is the right clip. Yep, there it is. Okay.
Optimus, tell the organic fan zone that he can send his police force home. It's a false alarm.
How do you know?
I just know, okay? Now I need you to come to my position, alone. And promise me one more thing.
What?
That you won't laugh.
Sentinel? Where are you?
Look down. You promised you wouldn't laugh!
Sorry.
Optimus, you want to see something funny?
No.
No. He doesn't want to say something funny. Oh god, it's so funny, dudes. I'm crying. Yeah, you and me both. I'm so red. Oh, if you want... Okay, you guys have been here, so obviously this is your skis. What the fuck? Markiplier! What are you doing? Get out of here. Okay, this is... I'm not gonna... Oh god, that's so loud. Oh, sorry. Oh god. Apparently it's paraben free. Why am I getting so many ads?
Just one day. Finished. My Colosseum. They'll never finish it today.
What the fuck is this ad?
Well, we ran out of Red Bull. And that is why Rome wasn't built in a day.
Wow, amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna just... Okay. The fold you. We're not doing that as a joke. Okay, listen. You guys have been here. Clearly this is something you're willing to listen to. Thank you. This, I'm not going to play it. Please, for the love of God, go watch this. If this is of any interest to you. Emperor Kumquat does really cool essays on Transformers Prime in particular. And his video on TFP Optimus Has Emotions is actually very informative and very cool. Emperor Kumquat. Kumquat's a fruit. Stop it. Hang on, wait. I'm going to address the text chat, and then I'm going to play another clip. I just want him to be old and retired. I want him to read his trashy romance novels in peace. I agree. A question. How did the fandom agree that Optimus Orion reads old trashy romance novels? Like, I know it's accepted fandom, but what's its origin? I don't know. I think it's because I think there's something about Optimus Prime where it's like he's a bit of an old soul, and you can imagine that it's one of his few guilty pleasures is just reading a good book. And the idea of a trashy romance novel is a bit of a guilty pleasure for any fan to be like, maybe he reads trashy romance novels. That would be cute. But we know he's a library nerd, that he likes to read. Please, I want to hear Peter laugh like that. Me too. Maybe Megatron continues to fight because he knows when it's over, Optimus will end his life. Oh! That's dark, but oh my god, that's such an interesting... I have a list of fan fictions I want to write. I'm currently working on my more long-form one, and then I have a couple of one-shots I want to write. That is now officially on the list, so thank you for the idea. Jesus Christ. Every time I hear it, I start crying. What the fuck happened? I was gone for like 2 seconds. TFP Optimus makes me depressed. Yeah, look up G1 Optimus tries to be cool. I need to laugh it up being a grandpa. Honestly, TFP Optimus is a different level of heart, and the end of the show, not gonna say any spoilers, but the end of the show, the movie, Megatron wishes for us to load him. Moving on. Nope. I know. Let the come. One of his guilty pleasures is so making a grave for himself. No! Yay. Oh, hi, Rune Plays. It's been forever. Hi. We're actually just looking at clips now, so welcome to the clip zone. I wanted to, but yeah, I highly recommend Emperor Kumquat's videos. He's very, very good, and he does the video on Viacons dying and if it's morally questionable or not, so I recommend it. Hang on, I want to find something. Just trying to think what it was I was looking for. What was I going to look up? I don't even remember. Can you show a picture of G1 Orion? I start crying every time I see it. Optimus sets up a shop where he makes tombstones for the humans of Earth. That would be really sad. I don't think he would enjoy that. I would buy some for decor. Tombstones made by Optimus Prime for decor? I mean, you and me both. Yeah. Orion packs. Let me just... I'm just gonna get... Oof! Alright, hang on. Alright. First of all, we have Orion Pax from TFP. This is what he looked like when he was Orion Pax before he was Optimus Prime. It's more similar. This is also what Megatronus looked like. You can see if I can't zoom in, but he has the blue eyes and he has red detailing instead of like dark gray or dark purple. So this actually there's a distinct transition. Yeah, this is actually fan-made, but they are based off of the canon designs, just nicely presented, because the official ones aren't like presented like this. With my bed two in my living room. I mean, I appreciate the goth style. This is what original Orion Pax looked like, and I do not say this lightly. This is not a character that has ever or will ever fuck. Original Orion Pax is the worst design I have ever seen. Good gracious, Michael Jackson. Those lips, what do you mean? You want to talk about lips? I'll show you TFA Optimus. Hang on, this is important. I really hope I have to turn off my thing every time before I type something in, because again, I draw a lot of stuff for Patreon. I don't want y'all to see my search history. That's just a fact. Anyway, you want to talk about lips? You want to talk about lips? We're going to talk about Transformers Animated Optimus Prime. Stop it! Bonk! This is why you're in Horny Jail in Discord. Transformers Animated Optimus. First of all, can we... Listen, I love a good art style, but I will make fun of the lean. He's over here! Look at him! Look at him! Look at him! Where are you going? Why are you all the way over here, but your feet are here? And here are you... Okay. God, people just love... love this dude's luscious lips. I saw something that Megatron has switched from red to purple because red reminded him of a riot. Ugh! It's probably because of how I beat rid of some Autobots. I love that headcanon. That is my new headcanon. That's a perfect headcanon. Look at this boy's lips. You all know that Ariel's in control. You can't genuinely tell me G1 Orion knows what to do at all. You're right. Listen. Ariel, I do think, was such a... Like, they were all terrible looking. I'm gonna look this up, but... Never watched the animated version. Honestly, the animated show is fantastic. It's just got a completely different set of lore. It's, I would actually love to talk to you guys about Transformers Animated, because the fandom's accepted canon of what Transformers Animated is so political and very fun and very great, and I would deeply recommend it. But it would take so long, and I've already been talking about this. Maybe another stream. I'm just saying. But Ariel, if they were dating, would absolutely have been the pants. If Orion Pax and Ariel were dating, she would have been wearing the pants, because Orion Pax, I think, is very much the, like, do head empty sort of. I mean, original Orion Pax, the one with the Chad face. Ariel, Orion. I'm gonna just Google these guys really fast. Oh, hang on. Here they are, but apparently it's also something from World of Warcraft or Warhammer, which I did not know. So, what the fuck is this? Anyway, these are the original two, and this is who they became. So you have Ariel and Orion Pax, who got reformatted into Chad Optimus, and I guess also Ultimate Giga Chad, Elita 1. And Elita 1's dope as hell. Sorry, there's a fly in my room. Elita 1's super cool. I'm just careful to scroll, because I know people are concerning, so I'm being careful about how far I scroll. Yeah. Now this is me. Oh, hang on. There you go. Add permitted term trash. I turned safe search on. Nah. I live life on the edge, baby. I saw War for Cybertron and Deadass. Elita 1 and Megatron deserve better. Op is so stupid. I definitely see Elita 1 and Megatron just sitting at her talking trash about how dumb OP is. Unfortunately, yes, I completely agree with you. War for Cybertron, well, the trilogy is not presenting Optimus in the best light, unfortunately. But also, this is just me, so... Oh, dear. I'm just gonna look this up really fast, but... I want to show you... Oh, this is important. Okay. Okay. Bear with me. Alright, I want to... We've come to the end of the stream, basically, but before we close up, I do need to talk to you about this guy, just really fast, from a design perspective. I think that Megatron has always been a very interesting design. Classically, he's very blocky, gray, and probably has the least complexity of any of the Transformers, and yet for some reason... When they were like, oh, we're gonna make him into the real world, they made him the most complicated set of shapes I have ever seen. There's not even a resemblance of his original silhouette. Like, they didn't even keep the silhouette. It doesn't make any sense to me. He doesn't even have any, like, bicolors, like anything. He's just gray. That's because Michael Bay. Yeah. Alita 1 should have been the holder of the Matrix. I actually agree with you on that one, just right off the bat. She actually thinks of consequences. Maybe falling into an obvious trap isn't a good idea. Yeah, Alita 1 in that show in particular does strike me as someone... Well, even Megatron... Oh no, that's with Windblade. Well, Alita 1 does have a certain amount of... I think she probably would have been a better, like, tactical leader in general. Optimus does not strike me as, like... The only reason he is really considered to be leadership is because he has a completely immovable moral compass and honors. And I think that that's still a worthwhile quality, but in a dark, gritty reboot, he doesn't fit in anymore. Like, a dark, gritty reboot and classic morals Optimus Prime doesn't fit, because Optimus Prime has such a specific set of morals that he doesn't really work inside a gritty reboot. He works inside of, like, bright, colorful reboots like Transformers Animated, and gritty-ish bright reboots like Transformers Prime. No silhouette, no silhouette. It's very good. I don't even know what movie Megatron looks like. I can't tell where he starts and stops. Yeah, he's difficult to visually parse. But Bayformers is that Sam is the first human to receive the Matrix, I think. Yeah. We are not the Decepticons. Like, chill. Why are you yelling? Yeah. And then in the second movie, he gets this look, which is a little better, like a tiny bit better. It's more of a silhouette. He's defined. He has a more defined face. He has a more defined, like armor situation. Is it good? Absolutely not. It's horrible, but it's better. And, like, the tire tread that are, like, chunky, not my favorite, but it's interesting. It's better than whatever the fuck these feet are supposed to be. And then in the third movie, I'm pretty sure this is him from the third movie. It could be wrong. He's just garbage in that one. And then at the end of it, he looks like this. This is what he looks like later. What happened? Pardon? Like, I'm sorry. I thought you were a dumpster pile. When did you get a shape? We can all agree that Megatron has thighs and shoulders while Op has hips and calves. See, now that is true. That is just objectively a fact. But, like, also, big fan of this. Look at this! Look at this! I love that. But I hate the Bayverse, but yes, that's the same character. And this is me. This is what I am in everyday life. Oh, God. There's so much I hate about this. I would hate to be the comic artist for any rendition of the Bayformers movies, because look at these unintelligible shapes. Look at the mess of shapes. Drawing this would be hell. No teeth, Megatron. I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. Oh, dear. They're so fun. But yeah, this is... Oh my god, look at this untextured model. I mean, he looks way better, but also nothing like Megatron. I love it when Starscreams get trapped in G1. When did that happen? I didn't know that happened. That's awesome. I'm gonna grab a clip really fast because I need to show you guys this. I need to show you guys Megatron gets his crew. Alright, you guys ready for the worst shit? Here we go. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, but first we're gonna have an ad, so let's sit back and enjoy this. So, what are we being advertised today? Oh, Loki! I don't actually mind this one. I'm gonna skip it. Because I've already watched this trailer, but cool. I low-key love this scene, to be honest. I actually also enjoy this scene. Out of context, this scene is quite fun and campy, and I think it actually captures a lot of really good original spirit. I just also want you guys to see it knowing that the rest of the Transformers movies are so serious and gritty, and that Megatron just suddenly looks like this. Okay, let's go.
Get this. He made contact with TRF. Snatched up two CIA case officers, said he wants to negotiate.
With him? What the hell does he want?
Certain alien associates of his released.
I love this transformation sequence. Look at that. Look at that. It's so pretty. They had so much potential.
Justice has okayed it so long
Ah!
as the
It's
military
my
watches
dad!
his every move. You're going to be on point because he is not our friend.
He looks so good like
You know who
this.
they always kill first?
Look at him! Ah!
Lawyers.
What?
We've made deals with the devil before during times of crisis. If we're going to get through this,
Yes.
we've got to open the door and let the monsters inside. There's a weapon out there of unimaginable power, a threat to our very existence, and Megatron can lead us to it.
Look at him!
You human. I want my crew.
Give me names!
Mohawk.
Okay,
Mohawk.
okay. Stop. 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 Look at that. Look at that. Look at him. Look at that little crook of his mouth. Ah!
Give me names!
Mohawk.
Mohawk.
What up, fellas?
He's so looking hot. Time look, right?
Down.
Also, can we please acknowledge this fucking... Look at this fucking thing. Look at this fucking little girl. He's got... Look at his little gold... He's got gold teeth, but they're made out of the Decepticon symbols. You're straight, but he's hot. That's the thing. Megatron transcends gender. That's why they're called the Transformers. Okay.
But I'm gonna kill you later. Definitely gonna kill you mofos later.
Oh, he's human-sized too. He's so little. What?
All right.
Dreadbot.
Okay, he looks very normal. Like, okay. Hang on a second. I do like. No, I don't like it. Why has he's got Christmas lights on his arm. I love the camp of this scene. This scene has great camp.
In for
What's up with the teeth?
robbery,
He looks like
assault, murder.
he's in for bank robbery and then he blows up the money. I love the camp of this. I love the camp. This is funny. The rest of this movie sucks ass. The rest of this movie makes no sense. This is funny.
Double murder, triple
What's that
murder,
roar
9
for?
Dead. Didn't even take the money. No.
We're not letting him out, no.
What?
I mean, we can be flexible. If you want us a GPS tracker, it's fine.
Okay.
What's the point of the meeting if he's just gonna get what he wants?
Nitro Zeus.
Oh my god, no, just do that one more time for me, Megatron, if you would. Just one more time for camera.
Nitro Zeus.
Nice! Oh, he's so cool. I only watch for Megatron being hot. You're right. Sexy Megadad has it going on. You're right. The way he moves. Yes. He's sexy. He's just very cool. I like him because he's a big-ass fucking kaiju made out of metal. And he's got great character, great depth. This is the guy we've been talking about. This guy rose up from the mines, from the gladiatorial pit, started a revolution for his people, and now he's considered the bad guy? No, I know better. I know that he's the true hero of this story, and I'm gonna simp for him as I should.
Baby, free at last. Thank you, Megatron. I'm free at last. Thank you. Gonna miss you, Tim. Thank you for your hospitality,
Why is he wearing chains? Why is he wearing chains?
Brad. I know where you live, Enrique. Say hello to your wife for me.
But the government requests that he does not leave the county. And we're serious about that.
Okay.
And last but not least,
Stop. Hang on. What's his fucking name? What's his World of Warcraft? Illidan. Give me a fucking second. I'm gonna show you guys something, and you guys are gonna see it, and I'm gonna be right. I'm not wrong! Like... tell you. Keep going, but I just wanted you guys to know what I saw.
I'll suck your brains.
Ooh, there are a lot of Transformers on the Decepticon side that have little nose rings, which is interesting,
Absolutely
and like
No,
sets of eyes.
No, there are limits. Pick again.
Onslaught. You need a bigger door.
I have had Onslaught in my life for 2 seconds, and if anybody hurt him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Let me run that up the flagpole real quick. I just gotta call someone. Great, thank you. Yes, yes.
You're allowed Onslaught. Yes.
What do you really want, Megatron?
What anyone wants, human. To go home.
Ugh, look at his beautiful face.
Right with me too.
Megatron, he's
Everybody shut up. Look at this. Just look at that. Just look at that. Why does he have a mask? He's never had a mask before. I don't know. Is it cool? Yes.
Yeah, that'd be all right with me too.
Megatron.
Look at that. Oh, and then the
He's after
refocus.
something.
Oh, and that like little glare. Look at that. We're going again. We're doing it again. Sorry.
Be all right with me too.
Megatron, he's after something.
Oh, like that little lean in and that little squint. So good. Yes. Yes. I've missed so much. I'm so sorry. God, I've missed so much. I knew I had an idea of Megatron in my mind. Totally didn't realize it was Mega from Transformers 5. I love his skirt things. Yes, I remember you mentioning how you wanted to draw a gladiator Megatronus that had like the battle skirt. And now you've seen this one and you've seen it actually done. I'm really glad to know that like you had the idea before you knew it existed. They stole it from you. That's all I'm saying. They stole it from you. So you didn't even need to see my pick of it to know what I was referencing. The teeth. What is that? I have a crush on G1 Megatron when I was like 6. I had a crush on Black Arachnia when she was in Beast Wars back when I was like a kid. I was like, wow, I like the spider lady. It draws back to Gladiator's outfits, and I love it. Yeah, it's so good. I like how they got the personality. I totally agree. Zeus, I can't. Funny thing is, when they declined Berserker, Megatron didn't have a fit. He silently agreed. Yeah. Dude, I'm so glad I came to today's stream. I was worried I would miss it, bro. Isn't it like 3 a.m. for you over there? I'm so sorry. Thank you for coming. Look up Starstream's OG name. It's so stupid. Okay, noted. He's copying from Optimus Prime, his sexy X, you right? He kind of looks like Bane from Batman. Yeah, he does, actually. He does kind of look like Bane from Batman. Hang on. Again, gonna just take this away. Starscream's original name. Clearly, they made the right decision to trash that made-up meaningless name. Hang on, I'm looking into it. The name Starscream wasn't the first choice. I'm reading an article. It's hard to imagine Starscream with any other name. After all, it's so perfectly evocative of his sheer craziness. He's a profoundly powerful but power-mad robot whose boss constantly throws shade at him. This is an amazing article already. Not to mention laser fire and punches. Starscream really achieves his goal and is left to scream madly at the stars. It's perfect for him. However, it wasn't the first choice of names given to him by the Transformers creator. No, that honor would go to Ulchtar. Ulchtar? Yes, Ulchtar. Clearly they made the right decision to trash that made-up meaningless name. Huh. Alright. Ulchtar. Starscream was also given a bunch of strange nicknames. The Silver Snake and Pretty Poison! I will be exclusively referring to both myself and Starscream as Pretty Poison from now on, so please keep that in mind. Thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. I was born in the darkness, Prime. I love that. I love that sort of a line. My man's thighs, skirt plus thighs. He dummy thick. He dummy thick. Alright, hang on. Starscream screaming. Oh, there's so many clips of this. And unnecessarily pretty as a skinny king hourglass look. He do. He sure fucking do. Please look at how many clips come up from... Pause everything. We're clicking on this. Oh, a Samsung Galaxy ad. That's new. I have a phone. I don't need this. Steamed ham.
Well, Starscream, I made it, despite
It's voiced.
your treachery. Ah, Lord Megatron, welcome. I hope you're prepared for something deliciously evil.
This is amazing.
Gasp! No, he can't! My diabolical scheme is ruined! But what if I were to purchase fast food and poison Megatron with that instead? Delightfully devilish, Screamor!
Stop. Hang on. This is somehow why is that so perfect? This is so perfect. Me finishing the last bottle of milk, my girlfriend coming home.
Screamer and his power and ambition, slaughtering his master's gonna be into submission. Wherever you be, Megatron's suspicion, someone's gonna get shot tonight.
Starscream! Megatron! I was just viewing my villainy from the windowsill. An impromptu exercise. Care to join me? Why is there smoke coming out of Soundwave, Starscream? No, that isn't smoke. He's calculating and compiling the schemed plans I'll be showing you. Schemed plans.
Schemed plans instead of steamed hams. Why is that actually really good? Fucking stop everything. Cut the goddamn cameras. This is the funniest bullshit I've ever seen. This is the funniest fucking shit I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Hang on. Soundwave stuff is how my dude. You're not wrong. Oh my fucking god,
Lord
that's
Megatron,
so
I hope
funny.
you're ready for mouth-watering hamburgers. I thought we were discussing schemed plans. No, I said screamed hams.
Screamed
That's
hams.
what I call hamburgers.
Screamed-
You call hamburgers screamed hams.
Screamed
Yes,
hams.
it's a regional dialect. What region? Deep space? Really? Because I'm from the same planet as you, and I've never heard the phrase screamed hams.
From the same planet as
No,
you.
it's a Gobatron
It's a what? It's a what expression?
I see.
Could you say that
No,
again?
not on Cybertron. No, it's a Gobatron expression. I see.
Galvatron the person? Galvatron the person? As in the person? Gobatron or Galvatron? Who are we talking about?
You know, these burgers appear to be quite similar to the
This is expertly edited. Like, this is, like, really well edited. Gofatron!
ones I have on Earth. Oh no. Patented Seeker burgers. Ancient Cybertronian recipe. 4 screamed hams. Yes. Yes, and you're serving me screamed hams despite the fact that neither of us consume human food. Now that you mention it, I suppose it must be far-fetched. Excuse me for 1 second. Very well.
Very well! Okay. This also is an amazing freeze frame that I've accidentally stumbled on. This is very good. Whew, I hate how well this describes your relationship. It's so good. You're so confused and you love this. Me too, fam. Me too. Oh my god, just...
Ooh-wee. Oh, that was wonderful.
Oh my god, I need...
Serving me screamed hams despite the
Sorry.
fact that neither of us consume human food. Now that you mention it, I suppose it must be far-fetched. Excuse me for 1 second. Very well.
Immediately go
Whee! Oh, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all. I pooped. Yes, I should be. Holy crap, what is happening in there? A good Transformers cartoon? A good
Stop.
Transformers cartoon. Something decently written with a well-paced plot and an interesting cast of characters, released on a non-exclusive platform from within your kitchen. Yes. May I see it? No. Stop.
That was the sound of, you heard that? That was the sound of my brain exploding. Don't worry about it. That was just my brain exploding because of how fucking funny that bit was. Oh my fucking god. May I see it? Hasbro. No.
Starscream, the base is on fire! No, Skywarp, that's just the top-notch plots we have these days. Well, Starscream, you're an incompetent traitor, but I must say, you scream a good ham. Help! Help!
Subscribe, boop. That was the best thing I've ever watched. That was amazing. Holy fuck. Totally legit fire department. Bruh. Oh my fucking god, that was really well made. That was really funny. That was really funny. 10 points, that's Optimus making his way there. See, I actually was gonna say, holy shits, dudes. Oh god. Oh fuck. Alright. Oh, I typed in Starscream scramming instead of Starscream screaming. Maybe that's how I got here. Alright, lads. You came for an essay, and thanks to your amazing patience, stayed for what was an essay and then quickly memes. So, thank you for being here. Megatron, you'll never capture me. Ah! I hope you guys have an amazing night. Thank you, or morning. I know you're elsewhere sometimes. Sorry about time zones and early mornings, but thank you so much for hanging out for this essay. We'll return to our normal streaming schedule on Monday. But in the meantime, have a lovely weekend or whatever your time zone tells you it is. Good night, everybody. Do. Hang on, I'm BRBing. I'm gonna put on music. Do. Hang on. Got it.
Nerf! It's the Nerf Elite.
This is a Nerf ad, sorry! Not music, shit!
With the Commander slam fire action.
It's Nerf or nothing! Bye!